state of Kansas temporarily shuts down unemployment processing to battle an influx of fraudulent cases.
President Biden signs an executive order aimed at expanding health care amid the pandemic. I'm Natalie Brand with the latest on the negotiations between the White House and Congress on COVID relief.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Some Southeast Kansas residents say they've had a hard time getting their unemployment checks. This is KOIM News at 5. We've heard from several residents who say the Kansas Department of Labor has missed payments and they can't get any contact from the department. Iola resident Vicki Geisler and her husband Jack are two of them. They've both been unemployed since March of last year. Vicki's regular and extended benefits ran out a little more than a month ago. So she's applied for a different extension and says she hasn't heard back yet. Her husband was supposed to get a check this week, but it's held up.
We were relying on that last bit of money to help pay the utility bill, and guess what? No money because they stopped everybody's payments from going out this week due to fraud. So we're stuck in a hole right now.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more from Vicki and have a response from the State Department of Labor. With the upcoming Super Bowl, a lot of Chiefs fans are gearing up to cheer on their favorite team, which usually includes gathering or going out to bars. But with the pandemic, you might be wondering how to celebrate safely. Well, we talked to an infection preventionist to see how everyone can still celebrate without spreading the virus.
Orders from everybody that you're going to pick up food for and get the foods that you enjoy, and then enjoy them in the small gathering of your home rather than in a packed bar or restaurant.
Stokes says ordering takeout is a safer alternative to watching the game in bars or restaurants while still showing support to these businesses. Let's check in with Doug Hetty now for our first look at the weather. As promised, some of that snow disappearing out there, Doug.
Yeah, we got sunshine for us today, and we popped up into the 40s, which is nice. Cold start, 27, but we did go all the way up to 43 during the afternoon, which is pretty good. We do have a few random little clouds out there, and we are going to have partly cloudy skies for us tonight. But overall, it looks pretty good for us tonight into tomorrow. But these are the clouds with the beginnings of our next storm system, which is brewing out to the west. And this is really going to start to affect us by tomorrow night and then heading into the first half of the weekend. Until then, we're going to stay nice and calm. Temperature is pretty good. Upper 30s to lower 40s, a little bit warmer in our southern counties. And the winds are going to start to pick up. These south winds will increase tonight into the daytime hours tomorrow. And that will help our temperatures even warmer for us on Friday. Through the evening hours, we'll slide back through the 30s. We'll bottom out near 30 for an overnight low. Of course, we're going to look at that next system here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Doug. The Department of Homeland Security issued a new terror bulletin warning about the persistent threat of more violence in the wake of the deadly assault on our capital. The new alert does not cite a specific credible plot, but it describes a, quote, heightened threat environment from domestic violent extremists who may be emboldened by the successful breach of the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. President Biden today is taking executive action to shore up the signature achievement of his time as vice president, the Affordable Care Act. Meanwhile, Democrats on Capitol Hill say they could take action on new COVID relief legislation as soon as next week. Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
Best way to describe them, to undo the damage Trump has done.
President Biden's latest executive order focuses on health care coverage, seeking to establish a special enrollment period on healthcare.gov from mid-February to mid-May. It also aims to strengthen Medicaid.
Of all times that we need to reinstate access to, affordability of, and extent of access to Medicaid is now.
The president also rescinded a ban on U.S. government funding for foreign nonprofits that perform or promote abortions. Meanwhile, a FEMA official says the agency is finalizing a request to the Defense Department for as many as 10,000 troops to assist in giving vaccinations at federally run sites nationwide.
Certainly not prepared under any circumstances to, and I guess I'm not getting off on the right foot with any, you talk timeline, budget, or number of soldiers.
White House officials held a call with Senate Democrats on Thursday to talk about the COVID-19 relief package. Democratic leaders say they are ready to move forward on legislation as early as next week.
If our Republican colleagues decide to oppose this urgent and necessary legislation, we will have to move forward without them.
Senate Democrats could use a procedural tactic involving the budget process, which would only require a simple majority vote.
It would be very disappointing, Madam President, if Democrats decided to shove a partisan bill through Congress without even attempting to work with Republicans.
The White House has signaled it's again splitting up the $1.9 trillion package into smaller measures. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The White House press secretary says President Biden has had direct calls to Democratic and Republican lawmakers as well as governors to talk about their needs on the ground. After being released today from a 2-week quarantine, a team of experts from the World Health Organization is in Wuhan, China, investigating the origins of the coronavirus. Their plans include researching a fish market thought by some to be the epicenter of the outbreak, though it's since been shut down and cleaned out. The experts do not expect any results soon, saying it could take 2 to 4 years to identify the source. Later, coronavirus tests at the push of a button.
You won't find chips or soda in this vending machine. I'm Naomi Ruckham with a look at a new way to buy at-home COVID-19 tests.
And next in Health Watch, some researchers say anxiety over the pandemic is affecting people's memory and sleep. Coronavirus variants showing up across the U.S. are starting to impact testing for the virus. Yesterday, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration says it's asking medical developers to make sure tests can detect the virus even as it continues to mutate. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says one variant, first identified in the UK, has been detected now in 26 states. Moderna said 2 doses of its vaccine should protect against known variations that have emerged. For months, research has shown how the COVID-19 virus affects the brain, causing infected patients to experience memory loss, difficulty sleeping, and problems focusing. Well, now some patients who have never had COVID are experiencing the same symptoms, but there are steps they can take to stop it. Marco Trochez wasn't caught off guard when he was diagnosed with bipolar disease.
My dad is bipolar 1. He has bipolar 1 disorder, and my sister has bipolar 3 disorder.
But what did catch him off guard was COVID-19.
That sort of brought to me this kind of depression, anxiety, and this fogginess.
He was also unable to sleep, was restless, and had problems focusing. Dr. Arthur Bregman is a psychiatrist and says many of his patients who have never had COVID are experiencing what he's coined COVID psych brain, with COVID causing everyone's anxiety levels to be elevated.
People's cognitive functions are disconnected and they're foggy,
causing even memory problems. Dr. Bregman says people can find relief with the 3 R's. The first is relationships.
Go talk to a friend, take a break.
Keeping a routine promotes good mental health. Set aside a particular time for work and exercise. And the last R, resilience, or the ability to bounce back, can be achieved by maintaining routines and relationships. But if the symptoms are severe,
those people may want to see a therapist.
Marco works with his therapist on his COVID psych brain and is feeling much better now.
Awareness, meditation helps a lot.
Giving himself and his pup Pie peace of mind. Dr. Bregman says people who already have other mental conditions such as anxiety or depression are more prone to COVID psych brain. People with schizophrenia are almost 3 times more likely to die from COVID-19. That's according to a study at the NYU Grossman School of Medicine that also found patients with other mental health issues such as mood or anxiety disorders were not at an increased risk of death from COVID. And new research at the University of California, San Francisco suggests alcohol consumption can be dangerous for people with atrial fibrillation. Scientists found that alcohol can change the electrical properties in the heart and increase the risk of an irregular heartbeat. Doug Heddy is up next with his complete forecast. And a little bit later, a new report shows credit card debt has soared during the pandemic.
Well, we got sunshine outside for us today. Finally, we haven't had any sun at all week long. And then temperatures, they warmed up quite a bit more today compared to at least what we have seen over the past couple days. Yesterday, we kind of hung out right around 30, 31 degrees. We dropped back into the upper 20s, but we did go into the 40s today, which is always nice to see. We are cooling back down. It's cooler in our northern counties, where most of you are sitting into the mid 30s. And then we have 38 in Parsons, 42 in Miami, Anderson 42, Bella Vista at 41, Carthage also at 41 degrees. South winds, they're going to be light tonight, but they're really going to pick up for us tomorrow. We'll have winds gusting 25 upwards to 30, but that's just going to help our temperatures out even more. Throughout the evening hours, we look fine. Few random clouds will drop back through the 30s, eventually near 30 for an overnight low. But you can see a few mid and upper level clouds which have been trying to stream in over the past couple hours. This is all in advance of our next storm system out to the west, right across the really the west coast. You can see it digging down into southern parts of California. Ahead of it, we have this nice big ridge of high pressure, and that's why we're getting nice weather today. That's why we're going to have pretty good weather for us tomorrow. But this system will start to roll in as we head into late tomorrow night, then heading right on into the weekend. Let's go through time. Tonight, a few random clouds, so partly cloudy. We'll drop back lower 30s. Sunny skies in the morning. Clouds will start to increase during the afternoon, but temperatures, they look pretty good. 31 to start, 51 by noon, high temp of 56, but we're going to have those south winds at 10 to 20, so it is going to be on the windy side. Clouds increase for us tomorrow night, but mainly dry until after about 3 o'clock in the morning. We'll start to get some showers, could even get some thunderstorms in here by Saturday morning. So here's 9 a.m., showers, thunderstorms rolling through. The heaviest rain exits by the afternoon as the dry slot punches in, but we're still going to have clouds, some random showers as we go into Saturday evening. So the first half of the weekend, definitely on the wet side. In fact, rainfall amounts, a lot of us could pick up 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch. There could even be some isolated 1-inch amounts out of this storm system. So it's going to be a pretty wet system as it works through. Let's go down the road as we head into the weekend. You can see that system pulling on by. We will cool down behind it. Then another ridge of high pressure early next week. That gives us pretty good weather. Then another storm system pulls out by Wednesday into Thursday, and this is going to have a lot colder air, may get a little bit of snow out of it, and then behind it, we keep getting these blasts of colder air by the time we head into Super Bowl weekend. So next weekend, we start kind of cool. We warm up Tuesday and Wednesday. Those rain, even some snow chances on Thursday, and then much colder temperatures all the way into next weekend for the Super Bowl. In fact, we could even have some snow showers here when Super Bowl Sunday rolls around. 56 tomorrow, 56 Saturday with the rain, cooling down a bit on Sunday and Monday, and then the 50s return Tuesday and Wednesday.
That might be kind of interesting to have snow here as we're watching the Chiefs play in presumably warm Tampa. Yeah, thanks, Doug. One of the worst winter storms in years is pummeling usually warm California with howling winds, drenching rains, and in some places, several feet of snow. The rain has already triggered mudslides in Monterey County, engulfing at least 24 homes and farms and sending 2 people to the hospital. However, the National Weather Service says this storm will either greatly reduce or end drought conditions across that state and temporarily put those wildfire risks on hold. Coming up, a company trying to make COVID-19 tests more available through vending machines. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Erie, Kansas native Robert Graham served in the U.S. Air Force from 1991 to 2013. He fought with the 455th Air Expeditionary Wing while stationed in Afghanistan. Tech Sergeant Robert Graham, a 4-state hero. More than half of people with credit card debt added to it since the pandemic began. According to a new report by creditcards.com, 51 million people piled on more consumer debt since March of 2020. And nearly 2/3 of debtors say a continued surge in COVID-19 cases would impact their ability to make even the minimum payment over the next 3 months. General Motors plans to be carbon neutral within the next 2 decades. The automaker made the announcement today after President Biden signed a flurry of executive orders this week aimed at tackling climate change. GM says it'll focus on offering zero emissions vehicles by 2035. The company's $27 billion plan is to transition to battery electric vehicles or other zero emission technologies by sourcing renewable energy. As for its manufacturing plants, those will be powered by 100% renewable energy by 2030 in the U.S. and by 2035 abroad. There are now several at-home COVID-19 tests on the market. Usually you have to send away for one of those or buy it at a store, but one company is selling them in a unique way. Reporter Naomi Ruckham explains.
No more long lines or appointments for a COVID test. Soon they will be available in a vending machine.
Grocery stores, shopping malls, airports, and subway stations.
The company Wellness for Humanity unveiled the first machine in New York. Customers purchase the $119 test online and are sent a barcode which is scanned.
Simply place it in front of the vending machine.
Seconds later, the box pops out. Inside is a saliva test that can be done at home and shipped off to a lab. Once received, results take 1 or 2 days. They're advertised to be 99% accurate. The company plans to roll out 1,000 of the machines in locations across the country over the next 6 months. Other companies have similar vending machines that are used in Europe and Asia. The University of California in San Diego created one with free test kits exclusively for students who are required to get tested at least once a week.
Swab your nose, put it back there, and then 24 hours later, you have your answer.
People without a convenient vending machine can find at-home tests in stores and online, but results can take days. Companies like Illume are planning to offer kits that provide an answer in minutes. Customers take a nasal swab, which is read by a Bluetooth-connected analyzer and an app. It's expected to cost $30 and be in stores in the coming months. Wellness for Humanity is also developing a test with results in 15 minutes. It will eventually be available in the vending machines. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Some at-home tests might be covered by insurance. Experts say it's important to buy one that's received emergency authorization use from the FDA. Walmart is turning to robots to help fulfill orders. The world's biggest retailer says it'll add robot-staffed warehouses to dozens of its stores. The robots will work behind the scenes, fetching frozen and refrigerated food, as well as small merchandise for pickup and delivery. Technology patented by Microsoft lets you talk to dead people, sort of. Microsoft developers created a tool that would make it possible to have a virtual conversation with a chatbot resembling deceased loved ones or historical figures. Want some guidance from your late grandparent or discuss the Gettysburg Address with Abraham Lincoln? Well, theoretically, it might be sort of possible with Microsoft's technology. According to the patent information, the tool would cull social data like letters, images, messages, social media posts from the chosen individual. That information would be used to train the chatbot to interact like that person, theoretically. Final check of the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is next, but then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have a response from the Kansas Department of Labor on the temporary shutdown of unemployment services. Plus, an organization in Jasper and Newton counties takes census of the homeless population in both counties, and Missouri's U.S. senators reintroduce a bill setting safety standards for duck boats. That's in response to the tragedy on Table Rock Lake in 2018. Stay with us. CBS Evening News, then KOAM News at 6. Let's check back with Doug for a final look at the weather.
All right, Dow, it looks like we're going to have a decent night for us tonight. It's still going to be cold. We're going to drop back to about 31 degrees for an overnight low. Partly sunny skies tomorrow. It's going to be windy, but warmer, as we should go up to about 54. Clouds increase tomorrow night. Rain increases early Saturday morning. Showers, thunderstorms, especially during the morning hours.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we're going to be right back here at 6. We'll see you then. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.